Welcome. So last episode we looked at the plans for the flat, what I was going to do, why I'm going to do it. This episode we're going to look at the excavation using the excavator and a bit of manpower. I'm going to discuss everything that's going on, and I'm going to talk about why sometimes it's easier to ask for forgiveness rather than permission. You can see how much hard work went into this. So it was pretty much a solid day for the poor guy. Just whack. His eyes sped it up a little bit. But yeah, he slept easy that night, I'll tell you that much.
Look at here, Cardi. That's here. That's the one we don't. It's no. That one doesn't match them two. Where's that one there? Alright, doesn't match. So we have.
Back when I was a trainee and I was working for these guys, we did a kind of training day out on site, one of my first site visits for large house builders. And the first health and safety exercise was they got one of these excavators, really 5 times the size of the one that you can see that I was using. And they took the quick hitch bucket off of it. They left it on the excavator, and they showed what can go wrong when you don't put the pins in properly, and when it's not properly attached. And they put a watermelon underneath it, used the quick hitch, flung the bucket, and it went smash down onto the watermelon and squashed it instantly. And they said that is basically your head if you stand underneath an excavator. And that was a lesson number 1 in site safety. Very important not to go near them while they're working. This is end of day 1. So you can see the progress that the guys made at the end of day 1, and the rear garden, which, as we know from the original plan that we saw, is actually communal ground. So technically I shouldn't be there, and I shouldn't be demolishing it. But of course, when you're excavating, you don't just go straight down unless you're going to put some kind of sheet pile in. So the only way to do it is to batten it back, and you do it at an angle, usually about 45 degrees. It means your excavator can go up and down. It's safe. There's basically no risk of the soil collapsing back in on the guys while they work. So that's the reason we did it at the 45 degrees. You can also see obviously how thick the slab was and the amount of concrete that we had to remove. It wasn't there for long. It was only there for a week, but of course it's the old adage. It's easier to ask for forgiveness than ask for permission. So at the end of that day, obviously the guys above were a bit like, I didn't realise you were going to completely destroy the back garden. I said, yeah, it was it had to be done to do that, but it will only be like that for a couple of days, which it was fine. But I think if I'd originally said to them, guys, I'm going to destroy the garden, they probably would have said, no, you're not allowed to do it. So this way, I actually managed to get it done. Ooh. Right, captain's log. This looks ridiculous. Captain's log, end of day 1. A lot of mess, a lot of progress. Very excited, very nervous. Every time I take pictures and stuff, I get home and somebody asks me a question and it will be just out of shot, the bit we need. It's so funny. Day 2 now of the excavation, and what you can see, again, we're flattening it out, we're getting there. Nearly all the muck-away is gone. We're just building a pile up at the back. I think at this point we had about 4 muck-away lorries come. Of course, because of the bulking factor, as soon as you excavate soil, it bulks up, it fills with kind of air, it's loose, there's air pockets into it. So 4 muck-aways in. Nice slope on the excavation, and what you can see, that kind of step, that's the foundation for that little green path we saw in video number 1. And although it's not part of the structure of the building, we still have to underpin it and make sure it doesn't collapse down and bring anything else with it when it falls. So that's why we've left the earth there. It's a slow process to underpin because you can only do certain bits at a time. So you usually do a bit, excavate and fill a bit, miss a bit, then do the next bit, and then you do that in a sequence, and then you come back. So that's the way underpinning works.